guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a true scary story. This is my own story. And so the time that I saw a shadow person. Now this is a true story and there's a little background to the place where this happened. And let's get into the story. So I'm going to go back to the very first incident, and I do want to say that for the longest time I did avoid talking about this because I thought that maybe this shadow person that I saw was a bad thing, especially because of the place where I saw it. And let me get into that. So when I must have been, I don't know, 10, 11 years old, I remember that my father took us kids with his girlfriend at that time, and then her daughter's girlfriend, and a group of teenage with their mother. So my dad's girlfriend had a friend, and that lady had teenage kids, a daughter, a son, and the son had invited one of his buddies, and that buddy is going to play a big role in this, the beginning of the story. So they're setting up the barbecue. We're in an area it's like a big park, and it's like areas where you can just park your car, pull over, and set up a barbecue. You'll see people that are just hiking, just walking, lots of trees, a small creek running. But the area that we decided to pull the car in was where there was like a little lake area, right? And it was deep. And not only that, but there was a very loud waterfall. Okay, very loud. It's my first time ever seeing a waterfall, and if you ever been around a waterfall, you know that they're very loud, right? And this one was super loud. And I'll try to find I don't know if I'm going to be able to find a picture and insert it, but we'll see. But not the exact waterfall, but something similar. But anyway, so we went there. So it was my dad's girlfriend, her daughter, the mom's friend, which I'm pretty sure was the one who set up this whole trip, you know, with her two teenagers / the son's bestie, right? And then us kids, which was me and my two brothers at that time. And so they're setting up barbecue. We put our swimsuits on. We're in the lake area, you know. And mind you, I never really grew up going out to places like the beach or Disneyland or anything like that. So I was so excited. This was all new to me, you guys. In fact, I don't have any recollection of ever going to a lake before. I might be wrong. Maybe I was too young to remember. I don't know. But I don't have any memory of ever going to a lake before this. Or like the danger of, you know, deep water and all those things. So just being so young, you know. So anywho, my friend, she starts to get into the lake. And then she starts to walk further and further in the lake. Fast forward, we are drowning, you guys. We are drowning. We're going down, and my brother, which only one of them, happened to be following me and my friend. Well, my friend, because that's the daughter of my dad's girlfriend, right? So we were following her, and she knows how to swim. But my brother, in the panic, he ended up going on top of her, like, shoulder area, like grabbing onto her, you know. And then, you know, when I was able to, you know, come back up in the water, I would see that my brother was on top of her, you know, and like in the panic, my brother was like 1 year younger than me, you know, and then she was only 1 year older than me. So we're drowning, you know, and it was so scary. And now, remember how I told you that the girlfriend of my dad, her friend was there with her two teenagers and then the boy's bestie? Okay, well, I was not aware of this, but here's what happened. All three of them the siblings and the other guy, they go on this like they start walking up like this area to like dive in the water, right? They're like walking up this little hill area, which I didn't know, so that they could jump down, you know, splash in the water, right? So they can dive in the water. So when they look down, when they finally get to the top and they look down, guess who they see? They see us drowning. So they jump, but not for fun. Now they're jumping to save our lives. And mind you, these guys are like strangers to us. Like, I've never saw them before this day. I don't know about the other girl, the daughter of my dad's girlfriend, but I never saw them before that. They jump. First, I have no idea who took out my brother and the other girl, but the first one that tries to take me out is the girl, right? The daughter of the other family, you know, the friend of my dad's girlfriend. Not the girl that we were following in the water. The other girl, the teenager, right? So she must have been like 16, 17. She tries to take me out of the water. And then we're drowning together. And then I remember her brother. He's like looking at me. He's like, let go of my sister, let go of my sister. You know? I mean, that's his sister, you know? And then we're like both drowning, you know, because I'm panicking and so on. So then I grab onto him and I let go of her. And then I remember he was like grabbing, like I was holding on to him. And then I remember he was like pulling my arms out of him. Like he was like, he wanted me to let go of him pretty much. Like he was forcing my arms off of him when I was holding on to him. And then the buddy, remember how I told you that guy's going to come? He ends up saving my life, you guys. I remember that okay, so we're going to use her as an example. This is me. And I don't know why, but I ended up holding on to the third guy now, the third person here, right? The bestie of him. And I remember I went like this. So now I'm holding on to his neck. And was he struggling? Yes, I was a young girl. I was, you know, very skinny girl, but he was struggling with me, you know. And so what he did, he's like tilting back his head, obviously more than her, in the water. And then he starts to swim like this, you guys. He starts to swim backwards. And thankfully he knew how to swim backward, because I don't know, you know, clearly two people already tried to get me out. I mean, the second guy, I don't remember he tried to take me out, or I know the sister was trying to help me. But anywho, so the guy takes me out. I hold onto his neck, and I can tell he was like struggling to keep his head above the water. I mean, he kept it above the water, but he kept swimming backwards and swimming backwards and swimming backwards. And at some point I managed to actually touch, you know, the floor area. And then, you know, I wasn't drowning anymore. And that's when I let go of him. And well, I'm still here today thanks to that man. I have no idea what became of him. I don't even know his name, you guys. I used to think a lot, not so much now, but I always used to think like, oh my God, if I ever saw that guy, I will like thank him. Like, I don't even think he knows I mean, obviously he knows he saved my life, but it means a lot to me what he did for me, you know. Like, I'm so thankful for that guy. I'm thankful for all three of them, okay? But obviously more to him, but because he didn't give up on me, you know, he took me out. And before you say, well, what about your dad? Didn't he notice? Or the girlfriend? My dad did not notice that we were drowning until they were taking us out of the water. And then I asked him, and he said, well, by the time I saw, they already were taking you guys out of the water. So who knows? I think that would have been too late. Not to mention, there's two of us. I mean, the daughter could swim, right? Should I just say her name? I don't know. Let's call her V. So V, she could swim, but my dad would have to choose between me and my brother, and then have to come back for the other one. And I don't know if that would have been enough time. I don't even know how long we were drowning for before, you know, those people jumped down. And you're like, what does this have to do with the shadow person? It has to do a lot. Remember, this happened when I was 10 years old. So that's that story. Okay, I'm just gonna let this story go. I'm not gonna get into more detail. I mean, that's pretty much what you need to know anyways. So that was that, right? I was 10, 11 years old. I was very young. And so fast forward, I'm around 19, 20 years old. And I was dating the father of my child. And this is before I got pregnant, before I had my kid, right? Okay. So we're dating, and I remember he said, oh, I know this place is really nice. We can like set up a picnic there, and there's like a little creek area. I had no idea where we were going. I was like, okay, yeah, let's go, right? Okay. I'm the one driving. We're in my car. He's giving me directions. Okay, yeah, exit here, turn here, right? All that. All right, so we do that. We get to the area, and like I said, there was a lot of places that you can pull in with your car, right? It's like a dirt. There's no, I don't know about now, but then there was no like assigned parking. It was just you're on the road, and then you pull into this dirt area because the park is so big, and you're just able to just pretty much choose where you want to park your car, whether it's the creek area, close to the lake area. So as I'm parking the car, right? This was like probably close to an hour drive, probably like 45 minutes. And then as I'm parking the car, he's like, oh yeah, I think this is a good area, right? It's nice, right? And I'm like, yeah, it's fine here. So I pull up, I park the car, and I'm looking around, and everything starts to come back. I tell him like, hey, is there a lake around here? And he's like, oh yeah, there is. There's more over there. He points, you know? And I was like, oh. Now, this was in the beginning of our dating. We were just dating, not for too long. So I didn't feel comfortable bringing that type of story up, right? We were there to have a good time. So I didn't say anything. So he has like a picnic blanket, some snacks that we had brought. And there's like a creek, you know, running really close to us. And there's like pebble rocks, you know, very tiny rocks. Here and there, I'll see people like that were clearly hiking, like they have their backpacks, water bottles, you know, and they'll be like passing by here and there, not too often. So mostly we were alone. You know, it was really nice, trees everywhere. I love nature. And obviously I was kind of shocked that it was that place, but you know, I was there with my boyfriend at that time, you know, and I wanted to spend time with him. So that's what we're doing. And when we're sitting there, keep this in mind, there's pebble rocks, right? Which when you're walking on them, you can hear them, you know? So, okay. We're kissing, you know, like couples do. We're kissing. And I remember, you know, when you kiss, well, I mean, you close your eyes, you know, you're kind of in the moment. And when I did that, I remember I would hear footsteps approaching in the distance. Because of the pebble rocks, it made it more obvious, right? And I can hear them getting closer and closer. And then I would stop because I would assume someone's going to pass by. And I didn't want them to see me kissing my boyfriend, especially at that age. You know, I was kind of shy. I was like, oh God, you know, some person's going to pass here with their kids or something. And here we are, right? Making out, right? So I would stop, and you guys, the steps would literally stop right next to us. Now, mind you, my boyfriend can care less. He can care less of who's coming. He's not even aware of what's going on around him. You know, he's just like in the moment, you know. I, on the other hand, I'm super like, I'm always aware of my surroundings, you know, and things like that. So I thought that was weird. I was like, okay, I guess they were coming, but now they're not. So that happened. And then we continue to kiss, and the same thing happens again. The steps start to get closer. This time I opened my eyes when the steps were literally right next to us. And when I do that, I see clear as day a shadow person, you guys. It was like a figure. It was kind of see-through, but not fully. And it was, like they say, a shadow person. like a black figure of the outline of a person, and it had no features. There was no eyes. There was no nothing. Like, I know some people say, "Oh, the hat man." No, it had no hat. It was just literally a figure. Like when you go, like when you make a shadow of your body, you know, that's what it was. It was a shadow, but this one was kind of see-through. And the first time I saw it, I was like, "Oh my God, I think I saw something." I told him that, and he's like, "Oh no, it's probably just people walking over there." Like I said, he did not. He can care less. You know, he was not worried about any of that. You know, like I was taking it as like I was like a little spooked, and he was just like, "Oh no, it's nothing. It's probably just people walking." You know, and we continued to kiss again. Repeat story. At this time, I was on edge, right? Because I've been hearing things. I think I just saw something. And this time I'm like more aware. I'm kind of like opening my eyes, looking around as we're kissing. And sorry for the details about the kissing, but I have to add it so that you guys can understand where I'm coming from here, right? So that happens again. Like I said, I'm more aware now. I hear the steps, someone approaching. I open my eyes yet again. I see the shadow person again, you guys. And this time it was not like I think I saw something. This time it was like, I know what I saw. I'm not crazy. I just saw a shadow person. And I could tell that he just wasn't like taking in what I was telling him. So I didn't even bother to explain to him or be like, "Oh my God," like this and that. At that point, we just, stopped kissing. We were eating our snacks. Then we walked for a little bit after that incident. But you guys, I know what I saw. I saw a shadow person. And it's crazy because people experience this during sleep paralysis, or so I heard. I experienced this in the daytime. It must have been like probably 2, 3 in the afternoon, right? Daytime, the sun is out. We're in the shade area. There's lots of trees around. But it was like a nice sunny day. And the place where I saw it, like outdoors, it's just like all these things that I can think about that I think it's like the least likely place to see something like that. But I did. I know what I saw. The first time I was kind of like, did I just saw that? The second time I was like, oh my God, I did see this. And as soon as I would open my eyes and I would look at it, gone. So it clearly did not want to be seen by me, or didn't want to scare me. I don't know. And this is why I told you guys the first story. Because for the longest time, I avoided telling this story. Because I was like, this is where I almost drowned. Right? Like 10 years prior. Well, around there, right? And now I come back, and now I see this shadow figure. So you need to understand how that can be a little spooky for me, because the first time I almost drowned, 10 years later, I go back and I see this figure, and I remember I avoided when they first happened, like the first couple of years. I avoided telling the story. I would only tell it to like people that I truly trusted. And the reason I avoided telling the story was because I felt like it was something bad. And I thought that maybe talking about it will, like, damn, how do I say this? Like, awake this thing, right? Like, bring it back to life, like something like that, right? I know it sounds maybe a little crazy, but that's how I felt. If I'm just being honest, I felt like talking about it was only going to awake this, like, maybe come back around, and I did. And the only reason I thought it was a bad, shadow person was because I almost drowned there. And now I'm seeing this, years later. Now it's been years, a couple years now since I saw this shadow person. And, now I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's someone that drowned her. Like, I have thought of all scenarios, of all, what could this be, right? So one, okay, maybe it's someone that drowned her. Maybe it's someone that drowned her and that knows that I almost drowned her. Maybe, you know, it's, I just have a very confused feeling about shadow people. I don't know if it's some kind, people say, oh, it's people that have passed away. Sometimes you hear things like, oh, it's something evil, right? And sometimes I hear stories like, it's your guardian angel. I heard stories like, oh, it's just another type of life, you know, they're shadow people and they exist and blah, 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 blah. I, till this day, have no idea. I personally feel comfortable now talking about this, only because I don't believe it was something evil now. Why did that change in my head? Because people around me, and I think some stories I have shared here on my channel, have experienced seeing shadow people. Not everybody. Very rarely do I, you know, talk to people that have experienced something similar to this. But it's never something bad. It's never, I think only one story that I know of, which is my brother, one of my brothers. It's been something like scary, but I feel like it's maybe someone that drowned, or, you know, that was curious about us being there. Or it's someone that's like, hey, it's that girl that almost drowned here, and they wanted to come look at me. I mean, I don't know, right? So long story short, you know, it's very strange to me that I experienced that in the place that I almost drowned. It's been years, and to have that happen to me, it's like, that's crazy. Now I'm no longer scared to talk about it, and this is a story that I've been wanting to tell you guys, but I thought I was gonna wait a little longer, if I'm just being honest, because I'm like, no, this is like a very deep story for me personally that I have no explanation for, that I'm still not 100% sure of what it is. So I wanted to wait a little longer, but you know, I'm just gonna say it. You know, I'm just gonna say it. Why am I waiting for what? To have more subscribers? To, it's like, no, like, you know, I feel like now I'm in the mood and I want to tell this story, and so here it is. And I don't know if anyone out there has experienced ever seeing a shadow person. If you have, I would love to hear about it, just because I like to get other people's stories so that I can kind of compare to mine. Because like I said, I still have no clue what this is. And yeah, I find it very interesting, confusing all at once, right? And yeah, if you want to share your story, I think at one point I do want to gather like subscriber scary stories and share them. But for now, here's my story. And yeah, I know it's a little like, you know, I feel like the only reason I believe in shadow people is because I saw it with my own eyes and I experienced it. And it's been the only time I ever seen a shadow person. But that was enough for me to be a believer. And I hope you enjoy the story. And yeah, if you like this kind of spooky stories like I do, I definitely have a couple of stories on my channel, and I'll be posting more. So yep, I'll see you guys on the next video, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.